Good morning, families. Thank you so much for joining us and tuning in for our webinar. Our topic today is going to be about adulting and the rights and responsibilities that your students have now that they are adults studying at VCU, as well as what some of your rights and responsibilities are and how those may have shifted over time as your student has now entered the world of higher education. My name is Lenann Yundestead, and I'm the Director of New Student and Family Programs. And we're really excited to bring you some really great presenters today who are going to be talking with you about these topics. So I'm not going to delay any further. I will let you know that we'll have an opportunity for questions at the end. But if you have questions that come up throughout the webinar, feel free to use the chat function. It should be at the bottom of your screen. If you click on that and type in your question, I'll make sure to stop the presenters when the time is appropriate to ask those questions on your behalf, or you can save your question until the end. As always, we will be recording the entire webinar, and then we'll make it available a little bit later on with closed captioning so that if you want to tune back in later, you're more than welcome to. But for now, I'm going to turn things over. And I think maybe we'll start with Rocky. I think Rocky's got some information. And just so you know who our presenters are, sorry I didn't introduce them more formally. We have Rocky Carmine from the Office of Student Conduct and Academic Integrity, as well as Officer Jonathan Wade with VCU Police here with us today. So Rocky, why don't you take it away to get us started?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Rocky Carmine. I'm the Assistant Director for Strategic Partnerships and Outreach in Student Conduct and Academic Integrity. And I'm just going to go over kind of what our office does, ways that students can get involved, and just an overview of some of the policies. So VCU recognizes respect, community, integrity, civility, and academic success as some of its values central to the university's mission. And that's really what the two policies I'll talk about today, the VCU honor system and the student code of conduct, they're really in place to reinforce those values. It's important that every student is aware of their rights and responsibilities under each of these policies. They can be found in a variety of places on our websites. The first two links here are direct links to the policies. Our website is that scai.vcu.edu. And then, of course, all of the university policies can be found in the policy library at policy.vcu.edu. And you might hear me reference one or two others. So the VCU honor system intends to foster an environment at VCU where academic dishonesty is not tolerated. We want to prevent any student from attempting to gain an unfair advantage over other students through academic misconduct, and instill in members of the university community the responsibility for upholding academic integrity by recognizing that there's not a neutral stance when dishonesty occurs. Apathy is not a neutral act, and failure to take action detracts from a community of trust. So really what this means is that we encourage all members of the university, faculty, and students to report suspected infractions of the VCU honor system. And those different types of infractions that the policy would see are cheating, which is receiving, giving, or attempting to receive or give unauthorized assistance on an academic assignment. Plagiarism, representing the words of another's as one's own without proper acknowledgement. Lying related to an academic matter is communicating any false statement concerning academic matters. Facilitation is helping or soliciting another person to commit an act of academic dishonesty. And then stealing is making academic materials inaccessible to other students. Typically, the majority of our cases are submitted by faculty members, and when we get that report, we'll notify the student, and that initial email will have all the information that we have, exactly what they're being charged with, who reported it, and it will ask them to come meet with us. In that meeting, that is the student's opportunity to respond to the allegation. They can present any evidence or witnesses to the contrary. And they can also, at any point in our process, they can be accompanied by an advisor. And an advisor is really just anybody that the student would trust or wants to have for support. Most students typically will use their parents as an advisor in this role. Our process is pretty transparent, but it can be very stressful for a student. So it's usually good for them to have somebody that they know and trust to be with them through this process. After an investigation occurs, the standard of evidence that our office would have to reach to find a student responsible for an honor violation is called clear and convincing, which is a pretty high standard that we define as substantially more likely than not that a violation occurred. But it's important to note that this is not as high of a standard as you would see in a criminal court, which would be beyond a reasonable doubt. If the office determines there's not clear and convincing evidence that a violation occurred, the student is found not responsible. And in that case, the reporting party, if they disagree with that outcome, they can appeal that decision. And if this office does find that there's clear and convincing evidence and a student is found responsible, the student can also appeal on the basis of they just disagree with the sanction that was applied, or they disagree with the finding of responsibility altogether. The sanctions that our office would typically assign, the VCU honor system recommends a first-time violation result in an F in the course, and that includes a transcript notation, which remains on the student's transcript for 5 years. This is not that's not to say that every violation would result in that. We also assign sometimes a minor grade penalty, like a 0 on the assignment. And we have a couple of educational sanctions in place as well. One of those is called RAMS LEAD, which stands for Learning Ethics and Decision Making. And that's a class that we ask a student to attend where they can reflect on their behavior during the incident and set goals for the future to try to prevent similar occurrence from happening. And in cases of plagiarism, VCU Libraries also offers a short course called Writing with Integrity, where somebody in the library works very closely with a student in identifying what went wrong in the paper that led them to this office and how they can avoid that in the future as well. For second-time violations, the VCU honor system does recommend a suspension, and that would also be reported on a student's transcript. So for the student code of conduct, it's important for students to know that their behavior, both on and off campus, is a reflection of the VCU community. And we encourage students to engage in responsible social conduct that reflects credit upon the university. So this means that the VCU Student Code of Conduct applies to students whether they're on campus or not. Members of the community should also strive to exemplify specific ideals outlined in the VCU Creed. And again, those reflect the university's core values as well. So typically, we get reports from either the VCU or Richmond City Police, where we might charge a student with an infraction of the Student Code of Conduct. which means oftentimes students might be going through a university process as well as a criminal process. We also receive occasionally reports from surrounding counties in the Richmond area, as well as other Virginia institutions. So typically if students on another campus were to be violating the student code of conduct, we would be notified by that institution. And the process for the student is very similar to the process in the VCU honor system. We reach out to the student, notify them of what they're being charged with, and invite them to come speak to us about it. And they can bring an advisor during that process as well. The standard of evidence is a little bit lower. It's called a preponderance of the evidence, and that is defined as more likely than not that a violation occurred. If the office does not reach a preponderance of the evidence and the student is found not responsible, and that is the end of the process. And if a student is found responsible, they can appeal on the basis of denying responsibility or just disagreeing with the sanction that was suggested by the office. This is a prohibited behavior outlined in the VCU Student Code of Conduct. Typically, if a student is violating the law, they are also violating the VCU Student Code of Conduct. And then they should also be aware of other relevant policies. If they're on campus, if they're living on campus, they should be aware of residential life and housing policies, as well as the computer and technology use policy. So some sanctions that we would typically see in the VCU Student Code of Conduct is censure, which is basically a written warning. Disciplinary probation and deferred suspension are periods of time where we expect a student to continue to abide by the VCU Student Code of Conduct. Neither of those things are recorded on a transcript, but if a student on disciplinary probation or deferred suspension were to have another violation, the next time it could be taken more seriously. We also offer some educational sanctions as well. RIMS lead, again. The Wellness Resource Center has a program called BASICS or K6, and these are drug and alcohol assessment programs where they track their behavior for a period of time and then meet with somebody in the Wellness Resource Center to discuss their alcohol or drug use. And sometimes we also might sign reflective papers for the student. The only things that are recorded on a student's transcript in this policy are things that would have them removed from the university, so suspension or expulsion. And we won't report anything out unless we have anything else out unless we have consent to do so from the student. Which brings me to FERPA. So the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act affords students the right to consent to disclosure of their educational records or personally identifiable information contained in those records. So a student's university conduct file is part of their educational record and cannot be released to anyone other than the student, which would include parents without written permission. There are some cases where we would notify parents of a situation. So there were amendments to FERPA signed into federal law in 1998, which allow us to notify the parents of any student under the age of 21 who had an alcohol or drug violation. And the purpose of this is just to keep parents informed, but also to help provide students with additional resources as they are navigating these processes. And that parental notification recommends to parents that they should have a conversation with their student about the events surrounding their incident. We also have an honor council and a student conduct board. So when students are appealing their cases, they get heard by members of the university. These boards are made up of students and faculty members. And we love to have student volunteers to join those boards and help out. These are great ways to get involved with the university that aren't a huge time commitment. The Honor Council would hear cases related to the VCU honor system, and those trainings for students who are interested are taking place this week, August 26th. And then in 2 weeks, we'll have the trainings for the Student Conduct Board, and those will take place the week of September 9th. So for the specific training schedule, you can check our website at this link. And yeah, we'd love to have students join. And that's all that I have. This is my information as well as information for the director of the office, Karen Belanger. Our contact information is there. If there are any other questions you might have at a later time, I'd love to answer those.
Thanks so much, Rocky.
Yeah,
all right. Before we switch things over to Officer Wade, does anyone have any questions related to student conduct and academic integrity at the moment for Rocky? If so, you can either unmute your microphone and ask those questions live, or you can use the chat function, which it should be at the bottom of your screen. If you click the little button that says chat, you can enter your question there. I'll do a little test here so that we can make sure that's working. You should see a message that says enter questions here popping up on your screen. Well, I have a question, Rocky.
okay.
If I am a parent and I find out from my student that they've gotten a notification that they need to come to student conduct and academic integrity because they potentially violated a policy, what is the best thing that I can do to support them in that process as they're getting ready for that first initial meeting with your office?
Yeah, there are plenty of things you can do. Even if we don't have written consent from the student that we can share specific information about the student's case, you're more than happy to contact us and we can kind of go into more detail about our process, which sometimes coming from a parent to the student is a lot easier to manage and a lot less stressful. We also encourage, as I said, that if students are comfortable, that they bring their parents as what we call advisors, which is essentially somebody who can sit in the room with them and basically be there for support and communicate with the student if there's anything they feel they left out in that conversation with the investigator.
Great, thank you so much.
Yep.
Any other questions in the moment for Rocky? All right, Rocky, if you'll sit tight and wait with us just in case any other questions might come up as the webinar goes on, that'd be great. But for now, I'm going to turn things over to Officer Wade from VCU Police, who's going to chat with us a little bit about what they do on their end of the process when students maybe aren't holding up their rights and responsibilities.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Officer Jonathan Wade. I'm the External Relations Officer here at VCU. And most often when things happen off campus, I'm the party that's contacted. And just to give you a brief overview of what we do here at VCU and who we are as a law enforcement agency. So we have up to 99 sworn officers here at VCU. We have the same arrest powers as any other law enforcement agency in the state of Virginia, which some students as well as parents don't really understand that in the beginning. So we have the same arrest powers as any other law enforcement agency, and we uphold the standards as DCJS has put forward for us to follow. And we also have what's called RMC security staff here, RMC event staff. So they're at the basketball games, and they're also patrolling campus after hours as well, in addition to the VCU Police Department. They'll be posted in the residence halls at typically in the overnight hours, as well as when students go home. So if they are to see anything on campus, they contact us directly, and we move forward from there. So here at VCU, we have about 55,000 faculty, staff, and students that the VCU Police is responsible for in reference to safety. We say that safety is everyone's responsibility, but it is our responsibility to ensure the safety of individuals that pass through and live or work on our campus. We have a perception of safety survey that is given out once a year. And with that perception of safety survey, about 96% of faculty, staff, and students say they feel safe or very safe on our campus, which is very important. We have a strong partnership with the Richmond City Police Department. That student code of conduct that applies to students on or off campus really holds true. So if something were to happen off campus, typically I'm contacted by the Richmond City sergeant or lieutenant, and they inform me that they have had contact with one of our students. So with that being said, our primary goal is to assist in whatever process that they may have. If the police department has any type of charges or anything like that, then we just inform the student code of conduct of situations that may happen, but we kind of leave that investigation in the hands of the Richmond City Police Department. And if there's something that we can assist with or on, then we go from there and do that. We also like to utilize our alert system. So with our alerting system, that's if anything were to happen on campus or there's a imminent threat to the VCU community, all of that information goes out via text message, as well as the Live Safe application. If there was something to happen, we would like to inform our faculty, staff, and students that live here on campus or even close or passing through campus of situations that may have taken place if there was a robbery close to campus, or if there was a water main break or any inclement weather. All of that information will go out into the application to inform everyone in the area of what's going on. The Live Safe app, we really, really support the Live Safe app. It's the fastest way to be in contact with the VCU Police Department. With this being the first week of classes, we've actually received a lot of Live Safe tips, which we greatly appreciate. We have well over 10,000 downloads, and with that information, we investigate it to the fullest extent if there's something that were to take place on or off campus. And if we receive a Live Safe tip from an anonymous user outside of our jurisdiction, then we contact that law enforcement agency to ensure what we can provide there is the best steps to do so. And just some safety tips that we provide is don't isolate yourself if you're on campus. That's what we explain to our students. And we also have self-defense classes here for students that identify as female. And zero tolerance for alcohol within the residence halls. That once again goes to the student code of conduct. If we identify any alcohol, drugs in the residence halls, we definitely contact the student code of conduct folks over there, and they make sure that everything is taken care of. We've received a lot of questions about weapons that students may utilize on campus. Pepper spray is the only one that we allow our students to have on their to have with them. Tasers come up a lot. Zero tolerance for tasers. It's one of those situations where individuals won't be charged criminally, but it's against VCU policy, so we'll confiscate those items and we'll hold on to them until a parent picks them up, or if they want to keep that item off campus, then they can keep that item there. Threats and violence we take extremely serious here at VCU, so we investigate those to the fullest extent, and that includes on or off campus incidents as well. Just a few extra tips. So police.vcu.edu is where you can find all the up-to-date information that we have. We have ongoing crime statistics that individuals are able to have access to. They can register, students can register their bikes and laptops on that website as well, and sign up for RAD classes, which is the self-defense class that we offer here free to students, and it's $10 for parents and staff members as well. Excuse me. And we also have our social media platforms where we post any safety information or any tips that need to go out to the community, which is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those tags are at VCU PD, and you can find that information. You can find that information on there. And if you have any additional questions, you can use our NSO app and our Live Safe app, the NSO tag, and put that information on there. In reference to off-campus situations, that tends to be the largest question that we have. So what we are trying to do here at VCU is ensure that students receive the highest level of education that they can. We understand that students like to enjoy off-campus parties and like to take and like to spend time off-campus. So what we try to do is instill in those students that, you know, the student code of conduct applies to you on and off campus. And with those partnerships, sometimes we receive calls for service in reference to underage consumption of alcohol, or if there was a situation where a student was involved in a hit and run or anything like that. We typically rely on the outside law enforcement agency to go through with that investigation. And if there's something that we need to take heed to on our end, we'll definitely do so. But as I explained to students and explained to parents as well, our primary goal is to educate our students on the rules, the laws, and the regulations that we have here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, as well as the rules and regulations that we have here at VCU, to ensure that their time here is spent obtaining that education and not as much interaction with us. And if there is any interaction with us, we always want it to be of the highest level of professionalism, which is why we this year included what's called a stop card. So if any student has an encounter with a VCU police officer, they should be provided with the stop card. I kind of associated with like a Yelp review. So if you go to a restaurant and the service isn't what you deem to be professional, you usually leave that review on Yelp. With the stop card, it gives any individual the same opportunity to contact our Associate Vice President of Public Safety, John Venuti, if there was an incident where the level of professionalism was something that they did not feel worked for them, or if there was any type of bias policing. They can definitely contact that number there and be in contact with us if there are any questions. We are extremely transparent police department, so there aren't really too many secrets. If there was something that happened on or off campus, anyone can contact our non-emergency number at 804-828-1196. Again, that's 804-828-1196. That's our non-emergency number if you have any questions. And as I stated before, we're a very transparent police department, so we won't really provide names, but we will provide the information that any faculty, staff, or student may need to feel more comfortable while they're here on our campus. And I think that's pretty much all I have. I'm definitely open for any questions. I have a great relationship with the sector lieutenants here in the surrounding areas of VCU, as well as Chesterfield County and Henrico County Police Departments as well.
Thanks so much, Officer Wade. All right, if anyone has any questions, please use the chat function at the bottom of your screen to type those in, or you can unmute your microphone and ask questions that way. I have one to get us started, and then we'll see if anyone else pipes in. And also, Rocky is still here as well, so if you have questions for student conduct and academic integrity, you can ask those as well. So my question, Officer Wade, is if I'm the parent of a student and I get a call or I find out that my student has been arrested, what is my first and best course of action as a parent and supporter of my student?
So the first course of action, well, it also depends on age as well. So if your student is over the age of 18, some of the information is, being that they in the state of Virginia are considered to be adults, some of the information we will have to ask that student, would they like that information released to their parent? And if they say yes, then we'll provide them with that information. If a student is arrested, the first thing that they are able to do, depending on if they are, if it is a releasable arrest, which means that individual received a summons. If they receive a summons, then they won't go to the Justice Center if it's releasable. If it's not and they're at the Richmond Justice Center, they can contact us, and they'll most likely go to our investigators and or one of the patrol supervisors. And if there's more information that they need, then we could provide that information. But if they wanted to contact that student at the Richmond Justice Center, then they would call down to Oliver Hill Way and get that information from there. But we definitely try our best to provide parents with enough information to get them where they need to be. But we also explain to students that, if we need to contact a parent, then we'll definitely do so. We don't want anyone, being a parent myself, I would have high or a lot of concerns if I was unable to reach my student. So we definitely try to be in contact with the parent, let them know what happened, what's going on, and if they have any further questions, then we definitely provide them with those resources to assist in the process.
Great, thank you. And then I have one more question for both Rocky and Officer Wade. My question is, I think a lot of times when we hear about the names of your offices, we often associate the names of those offices with students being in trouble or people who are out to get our students. And I, of course, know that's not true. Can you all share maybe your favorite positive interaction with students, or the way that your office interacts with students that you think is a really positive interaction?
I can go first. So we in the crime prevention and community policing division, is partnerships, and not just with crime prevention and community policing. It's just VCU Police as a whole. We're extremely involved in what's happening on campus and what's happening off campus. One of my favorite things to do is to partner with fraternity and sorority life. Just a great number of students. They love to volunteer, love to help out here at with the VCU Police Department, and also at the elementary school within our jurisdiction, Carver Elementary. They love to partner with them as well, as in reference to mentoring and assisting the younger students with their field day activities and things of that nature. So just being involved with fraternity, sorority life, SGA, down at the health systems, anything that we can do to provide there. Is just getting that younger feel. I participate in social media, but not as much. So if we need any assistance there, they can definitely help us with that. But just learning to be not just a law enforcement agency, but also community members as well, definitely helps us take a great step forward here at VCU.
Thank you. What about you, Rocky?
Yeah, so I can think of a couple things. I think first, our working with our honor council has been a really awesome experience. We have a group of students who are just really, really passionate about what they do, and building relationships with them over their 4 years here at VCU has been really cool. I also think, our office, I think people tend to say like, they're going to get in trouble, or they're getting in trouble when they end up here. And I understand how it can certainly feel that way, but even just students with drug and alcohol violations, I've built some really good relationships with students who came through the process that had continued to stay in contact with me through their time here at VCU as well. And I think in these particular students' lives, they just had a lot going on and they made one bad decision, and just having somebody here at the university that they're required to talk to has been really good for them. So every time that happens, that's just like an awesome experience that I really enjoy.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have any questions for Rocky or Officer Wade? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, if you do happen to have questions that you would like to have addressed by them, please feel free to send those to our RAM Families email, and I'll be happy to share those questions with Rocky and Officer Wade. And that email address is ramfamilies@vcu.edu. And so I want to thank you all again for tuning in. I'll get my picture back up here really quickly so that I can see you all again and you can see me. But again, we will post the recording of this webinar a little bit later, so that if you want to refer back to the information, you can. And we look really forward to hopefully getting to tune in with you at another webinar. We've got a couple of more coming up in September. And so the next webinar that we have is going to be on September 10th, Tuesday, September 10th at 11 a.m. And it's called Missing the Comforts of Home and Helping Your Homesick Student. So this would be a really great opportunity to connect with our counseling center that's going to be facilitating that webinar. And might also give you some really good tips too for if you're missing your student, how to work with that and how to overcome that. So we look forward to tuning in with you then, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much.